That I have been looking for him. Happy 1st of 2021. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Happy 2021, baby. Clearly, I was gonna wake you up too. Hello, Chrissy. Happy 2021. Hello, James. Thank you for coming in. Happy 2021. How are you all doing? I hope you all had a great night last night and a safe night in whatever it is that you decided to do to bring in your 2021. You made it. Isn't that awesome? You made it. You made it. First, let me ask, did any of you make any New Year resolution? Don't be shy. Just come on out with it. Did any of you make any New Year resolution? Don't be shy. Just if you did, just come on out with it. It's all right. Tell the Lord that you made it. If you made your resolution, it's all right to be honest. Some people do it every year as a tradition. Some people don't. It's just according to what you decide to do. I had woke up today to all the text messages, for us getting into 2021, to all of the Happy New Year group messages. I had some clients that made a New Year resolution for 2021. I had some clients and friends that did not make a New Year resolution. And I'm curious, did you make a New Year resolution for 2021? And again, we are all different. So I know that we, all have our likes and our dislikes. So I had to get on here today, the first day of 2021. First of all, I want to say that we should certainly be grateful because we made it. And a lot of times people go through personal turmoil or personal trials in their life. James, you did good. I did not either. And we're going to get into that for just a moment. But normally we go through our own personal trials or turmoil in your life sometimes and etc. But 2020, we went through a global pandemic. So some people had to lean on some people. Hello, Marquel. How are you doing? Thank you for joining. Excuse me. Please do like, tag, and share. So 2020, last year, people found out they had a strength they did not know that they had. And you should certainly celebrate yourself because some people thought that they could not handle their own personal battles. And just to think that you were able to pick up not only your sword, but the sword of some of your family members, the sword of people in your community, the sword of some people on your jobs. Some people lost their jobs and they thought they could never make it without their company. Some people took some major pay cuts or worked a job they never saw themselves working, but they did it. And so that is one thing we should certainly be grateful for. I know a lot of people like myself, so I will certainly not walk in a fantasy world. Like a lot of people, I was glad to put 2020 behind us. Certainly glad to put that year behind us and to work on a progressive movement, not only for myself, but for those in my inner circle, and to continue to lock arms with our country as we move forward as well. But the work does not stop. So as you can see, I inquired if you made a New Year resolution. Hello, Jay. How are you doing? Thank you for joining. I did not make a New Year resolution, and I went to sleep right before midnight. But I really never make a New Year resolution. And the reason I do not, and I had some friends last night, we were talking, it was funny. And one of my friends was like, Jesse, I never really understood why you never make a New Year resolution. And I said, well, first of all, you have to really look, and I am a word person. So you just can't throw something at me and expect me just to join on the bandwagon because everybody else is joining on the bandwagon. James said we just need to do better and change the things we can. Absolutely. And pray for the strengths for the things we cannot. Absolutely. Absolutely. And if I may add to that, not only pray for the strength, but also pray for the wisdom. Because sometimes we don't even seek God for the wisdom. And the best part of that is if we lack wisdom, we have the ability to ask for that wisdom. And we just have to make sure that we're in a proper position to gain the wisdom. So with resolution, whether if you're looking at it in the context of a verb or in the context of a noun, it simply means to search, to find an answer, to find resolve, to be fixated on your purpose. And I do that throughout the year. So throughout the year, I'm already searching for my purpose. I work hard throughout the year. Why? Because I spent time before making mistakes, as we all do, and we will still make mistakes. But throughout the year, there are goals that I have. There are things I desire to accomplish. There are places I desire to go. So I am not one to wait until the end of a thing to start to create a plan, because that's a lack of wisdom. So I don't wait to the end of a thing to start to create a plan. I'm already planning. So even when the clock strikes 12 for the next year, my plan is already created for that following year. Because if I say that, okay, my New Year resolution, as soon as that clock strikes 12, my New Year resolution is this, then that in some way says that I lacked, I was lazy, I was not open to some possibility, to some education, to some discipline throughout that year. And I do not want that to be the case, because when we limit ourselves, we put ourselves in a bad position. And what does a number really change? So if I was not willing to do some great things the year I was placed in, what is the next year really going to do for me? The number is not the issue. My character is. So there's some searching that I need to do within myself. Now, should we always be looking to evolve? Absolutely. Because we never have the answer right there in front of us. That's why I say throughout the year, I'm always reevaluating the plan, right? And there are always some tweaks. It's like houses. When we live in our home, we first move in them, we do some things, and this is what we say we like it this way now. And then we may be in there for a few months or for a year or two, and then we may do some remodeling. That's what redefining is. Redefining is transformation. So we may decide that we want to make some transformations. So you know what? I like this in this season, but in this season, I want to make this change because I had this idea. Now I want to begin to make this change. James said we must plan not to fail when we face adversities. Absolutely. And so now I want to make these changes. And so we always have to make sure that we're staying in a position to be humble enough to desire to learn, but yet be great enough to be a leader. So if others fall around me, I'm strong enough to stay on course, but yet humble enough to be a cup to be poured into. Does that make sense? So when people, and there are people I know that have made the same resolution, my God, for the last 5 years. And I kid you not. And in fact, one of my friends and I, we had this conversation 2 days ago because he said, Jesse, I want you to be my accountability partner. I said, no, you don't. He said, yes, I do. I said, no, you don't. He said, yes, I do. I said, no, you don't. And he said, why do you keep saying that? Because, sir, you've had the same resolution for the last 5 years. Now, Me being your accountability partner does not include me being your babysitter. And I'll never forget, my grandfather used to say that we have to want it for ourselves. And so I said, for the last 5 years, I have watched you get in a relationship. I have watched you get degrees. I have watched you relocate. I am not about to sit with you. And then I get pissed off because we at the end of 2021 and you in 2022 talking about, oh, 2022 is your year. I will cuss you out. What is going on in Zion? No. What do we need to do? And that is the issue a lot of times with us, is we want the light, but we do not want the discipline. Because there's great discipline that comes along with success. And I'm not talking about desiring to be a star. Some people want to be a star, and that's fine. That's your journey. But with success, period, whether it's us desiring to operate better within our finances, better within our families, better within our careers, better becoming a better entrepreneur, becoming a better partner, whatever your better is, it requires discipline. And so before I start creating a list of resolutions, I need to ask myself, do I desire to be better? And am I ready to position myself to walk in a position of discipline? Because a lot of times that is where we fail, is we do not exercise discipline to meet the need that needs to be met. And that's how we have redundant resolutions at the end of the year. And that's why, I was born and raised in church all of my life. And, this year is one of the first years I haven't been able, of course, to attend watch night service. I watched a service last night for going to bed, but I've never believed in just shouting your way through it. It's like, sir, ma'am, after you get up, like, what is your next? Like, you have shouted for the last 10 years. Like, what is your next? Because the shout didn't do it. The shout did not move you into your next. So yes, I believe in giving God what is due to him, because he is faithful. And I don't know what your faith is, but I know who God is to me. And I give him what is due to him. But after that, do I have enough power and authority to position myself to begin to exercise that authority that I'm filled up with? Or am I just regurgitating what I filled myself up with by being in church and by being with the people? Or am I saying, now I'm ready, because everything I desire requires discipline. Wealth requires discipline. A greater family requires discipline. The business requires discipline. Saving requires discipline. So everything I desire to be better requires discipline. And everything is not everyone's fault. So, resolution. What is it? Again, if you're looking at it from the connotation of a verb or a noun, it means to be fixated on my purpose. So what is my purpose? And after I have identified that, now I need to ask myself the hard question, am I prepared to walk in discipline so that I can make sure that this year will be a major contrast to the prior years? No matter what quotes I tell myself, because I can give myself all of the affirmations under the sun. Hello, nephew. How you doing? Love you, nephew. Hello, Tom. How are you? I can give myself all of the affirmations under the sun. But if I don't exercise the discipline that is needed, 2021 will remain like 2020, 2019, 2018. I need to ask myself, am I ready to position myself in a place of discipline? And yes, there were some times where 2020 may have been hell on the highway for some people. but at least you saw a strength that you never knew that you possessed. And so you made it. May not have made it in the way that you desired to make it. You may not have overcame in the way you desired to overcome. But reality is that you overcame. That is the reality. Sometimes it's not just how I got there. It's the fact that, you know what, I merely made it. That is what I'm celebrating. Is because there are some people that did not make it. And reality is there's a lot of people that did not just die from coronavirus. There are some people who just gave up because they could not take it. Their life alone was enough. So now, not only are you asking me to be aggressive with creating a master plan to deal with my pain points, now we have a global pandemic, and you're asking me to deal with the pain points of the world, my job, my housing, my finances, all of this in one big ball. And so you may have kicked and screamed and cussed, but reality is that God kept us and we made it, and that is enough for you to celebrate the strength that is within you. And there are a lot of people that made resolutions and not even understanding even the origin, the Latin origin of where resolution came from. Because resolution is not just me seeking my purpose, me being fixated on my purpose or on my course. It also means for me to seek revelation or to get revelation, for me to loosen up, for me to break up with some things and some people, some things, some ground has to break loose for me to release. That is the origin of resolution. That is the Latin origin of resolution. For some things to be loosened, for revelation to break loose. So what has been revealed about yourself and about your situation when you woke up today in 2021? So how is the trajectory of your story going to be presented different in 2021? And not to say that we're going to walk through the rose garden this year, because we are still going to have bumps, and that's what keeps us strong. However, my approach can be different. Last year, when I did not take the opportunity to walk away when I should have, this year I'm going to work on my walking away approach. That, you know what, instead of me being pulled in and suckered in, I'm going to work on walking away. This year, instead of me making excuses of the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, I'm going to evaluate those shoulda, coulda, wouldas and start to create a master plan for myself on why I know I was created to create. Because that is literally what the word tells us. That God said, let us create man in our image. We are literally a carbon copy of greatness. Now, what we do with the power is all on us. We have the power. We have the authority. What we do with it, how we exercise it, is on us. And so there may need to be, and again, that's where the original definition of resolution comes into play. Because that's where I may have to do some breaking up, some loosening, because I cannot desire to walk in it and not expect to break up some ground along the way. Because reality is that everyone that you may have seen going with you in 2021 is not the reality of your story. Because you're making a redefining move now. And so I'm not saying don't make a resolution. I am saying dig deeper. Dig deeper. I evaluate myself every day. And when I say every day, I mean every day. And it did not used to be easy because I know me. I know sometimes I can be stubborn and etc. And so before my healing process, it was not the easiest process. And then when I became healed, of myself, of situations, of people, it became easier for me to evaluate Jesse. And so it became easier for me to go before the throne daily and make sure I'm in the right position so that I don't lose the ground that I'm gaining because of pride, lack of humility, because of ignorance, because I decided not to walk in wisdom, because I connected with the wrong people and did not seek wisdom and guidance. And so every day, because I know the journey that I'm on, I seek wisdom. I make sure to do a self-check every morning. And that is what my morning meditation is about, becoming one with myself, my devotion with God, and making sure that I'm doing a self-check. Jesse, are you good today? You got to make the right decisions. And again, not saying that it's going to just be fairies and candy cane every day, but I will make better choices. Hello, Jason. How are you doing, sir? I will make better choices. Why? Because I've evaluated my camp. So I don't have a lot of Akins in my camp. I done filter those suckers out. Hello, Danielle. How are you doing, love? Love you. I done filtered those suckers out. And one thing I had to do, because a lot of times we get that separation anxiety. Like, oh no, not him. Oh, not her. Oh, I can't let them go. To hell with that. Oh, I can let them go. And I will let them go. If they cannot operate with integrity, if they can operate with the love of Christ, if they can operate with an honest attitude, you have to go. This relationship is not meant to be. I don't care if it's an intimate relationship, a work relationship. All we can do is be acquaintances. Because when you have spent time in the wilderness, you don't volunteer to go back. Who volunteers to go back into the wilderness? Now that's a lack of wisdom. That's just foolishness right there. You are a fool to be a volunteer to go back into the wilderness. I'm not going to volunteer to go back into the wilderness. And sometimes we can be like that. Sometimes we don't want to cut people off, especially have our same last name. We don't want to cut them off. We don't want to let them go. But again, that is part of the origin of resolution. Remember, the Latin origin of resolution is to break up, is to loosen, is to reveal. And so because I've dealt with heartache, whether I've done it myself or allowed other people to do it, once I begin to walk in my truth and begin to accept responsibility and begin to gain my footing, and now I have this blueprint that I may be tweaking and making these adjustments daily or weekly or quarterly, my camp has to be a safe place, not just for the people in it, but for myself. Because the more I allow confusion in my camp, the further it takes me away from sanity. And the further we get away from sanity, the further we remove ourselves from sound wisdom. And that's how we volunteer to put ourselves back in the wilderness. Now, the wilderness does teach us, and it taught me a lot, but I'm not volunteering to go back. I'm not signing up to go back in the wilderness. I'm not doing that. And so I rather have a clean breakup than to reserve someone else's or preserve someone else's feelings just for us to stay happy and miserable. Not doing it. Not doing it. So as you have made your resolution in this redefining year, you made it, you made it, you made it. Celebrate that today for yourself. You made it. Because some of you thought you were going to lose your mind just with your personal matters. And you made it not only with your personal matters, but with a global matter that affected your finances, affected your home, relationships, and etc. Celebrate that about yourself today. And so with this resolution, it's not just regarding me being fixated on my purpose. It also is regarding the breakup, the loosening, and the revelation. So, okay, I love you all. I am looking forward to seeing what is on this side of the mountain. And this is the time. Last year, we went through it. We found strengths that we didn't know we had. Some of us coached and counseled other people through. You can get to your place. You got through it. Now get to it. Okay? I love you all. Have a great redefining January 1st of 2021. All right. Love you.